Let's go to Omaha and talk to James. What's up, James?
Hey, John, how's it going, man?
We're partying, dude. What's up, man?
Well, I guess I'm just going to roll right into the question. So my wife and I are on the brink of a divorce. And so my question for you, I guess the best way I can put it is, how do I navigate, these emotions and everything that's going on, and really try to find myself right now? Because, obviously my sense of self is kind of all over the place at the moment.
Yeah. What happened, man?
I got to go back a little ways. So I've struggled with varying degrees of anxiety my whole life. And it's, ebbed and flowed, ups and downs. But right before we got married, I really hit the lowest point in my life with my anxiety. And I was just in pure survival mode for like a year or more, maybe. And so I just couldn't be the best partner in the world. And so kind of the romantic and intimate part of our relationship really started to fade away. And ever since that point, we've just never had the tools or understanding of how to kind of bring that back and really strengthen that side of our relationship. We were always really good support systems for each other and really best friends, and still went out and made a ton of memories together. But that side of the relationship never truly recovered.
Hold on. So, why did y'all choose that? Somebody chose that, or y'all chose it together?
We're both really good at avoiding the tough conversations, the awkward conversations.
I know, but hold on. Sex. Don't avoid that. It's like one of the best parts. Second, you're about to lose everything. And so if you're like somebody who wants to avoid conflict and you see a child about to walk in front of a truck, you're like, I'm just not good at hard conversations. And then he gets hit by the truck. Like, your marriage is almost over.
Yeah.
Why not have the conversations?
Well, we've been having the conversations, but obviously a little late in the game.
I don't believe in late in the game. I don't believe in late in the game.
Well, so let me run through what she is telling me then. She, over the past 6 months to a year, she started, talk about how she feels trapped and claustrophobic, both just in the relationship, in her life, her job, where she lives. I mean, just kind of everything about her life right now. She just kind of feels claustrophobic, I guess was the word she used. And, recently she's been talking about, she doesn't know if she wants to be here anymore. And she just doesn't have hope that the relationship can be changed. And the real, I guess, final kicker was she told me that she doesn't even know if she wants to try to heal the relationship, I guess.
She's been married to a light socket.
Yeah.
So the way you just laid that out, what she said tells me that's the sound of somebody who's exhausted. They're out because they're trapped in an umbrella or like in a dome of, well, it's just the anxiety. It's just the anxiety. It's just the anxiety.
Yeah.
And even your language is super defeatist. But listen, dude, like this anxiety, it's not something you have. It's not something that like descends upon you like COVID did. Right?
Right.
It's a whole bunch of little bitty choices that you make over a period of time. And so my question, she's not on the phone, so I can't talk to her, but I'll ask you, Why have you allowed, what is it about this that is an identity for you that's so powerful that you're willing to lose your marriage over it? You're willing to have a sexless marriage. You're willing to have a marriage where you don't have conversations with your best friend in the world.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been working really hard on myself within like the last year. I found a therapist that I love, and I've been working really hard, but it's just I have reached out and tried to.
What does working really hard mean? Because I don't believe you. I say that because I love you, but I don't believe you. Like, what does working really hard mean?
Well, like I said, going to therapy and having a lot of tough conversations with my therapist.
Here's what it sounds like. It sounds like you have a lot of conversations. And you have a lot more conversations after that. And then you think a whole bunch. And then you read a book and listen to some podcasts. Then you have some more conversations. And your wife's like, can we just have sex? Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, but it's also a reciprocation thing, because I feel like I have come to the table, let's try this, let's go to this, let's do this. And it just seems like we just sit and spin our tires rather than actually move forward with the process of doing said things and actually working towards the healing part of it, if that makes sense.
Yes, and okay, can I be like super honest with you because I love you?
Absolutely, man.
All right, so the father of existential psychology, the great Irvin Yalom, he kind of took up this mantle, if you will, this baton of teaching future therapists, and he said, as one of the greatest tools a therapist has in their toolkit is everything is data. And he said, so what that means is, as a counselor, if one of your clients comes in and every time they come in, you're just so distracted, you can't pay attention. You're like, find yourself nodding off. You find yourself like keep having inside your mind, like, I got to come back. That in and of itself is data. And a true loving counselor would ask the person, do other people think you're boring? Do other people say that you're hard to be around? Because I'm struggling. And maybe that's where the work is, okay? So I tell you all that to tell you, I'm struggling to connect with you because every time I'm trying to connect, you loop it around and have like, well, and actually what we talked about is, and I could get this picture, tell me I'm crazy, that you are like, okay, our intimacy is off, it's not good. I'm struggling with anxiety. I've had lots of hard conversations. Honey, we're going to do a sex thing. And it's going to be a this, and it's going to be a that. And then and so really your wife, instead of entering into this, her coming home and the whole house has roses everywhere and there's candles. I don't know what she's into. And Tori Amos is playing or Olivia Rodriguez is like, I don't know what she's into, but whatever her thing is. Instead of that, she gets off of work and feels like she's going to an exam, like a final exam, a test that she needs to pass so her husband, who's anxious out of his mind, can be a little bit more of the husband she signed up for. Do you see the difference? One of these is a project, and one of these is part of my homework assignment between me and my counselors. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to be recklessly vulnerable with my wife. And I'm going to feel the tension in my body, but I'm not going to put that on her. That's her. Her job isn't to perform for me and make sure she does everything right so that we can be intimate. Whatever intimacy looks like, it could be doing it, but it could be a whole bunch of other stuff too. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I right or wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong, man. Call me out if I'm off.
No, you're definitely right. It's just, I guess, I don't know how to necessarily get to that point. You know what I mean?
You have to decide to so recklessly run into this fire and through the smoke. And you're not. Your wife is standing there in that fire getting burned. And you're like, all right, so what we're going to do today is we are going to examine the smoke. And she's like, will you just come here with me? And I'll be super honest with you, man. I'm all about reality. It may be too late. She may have checked out. And that's okay. I mean, it's not okay like it's going to hurt and be awful. Back to your original question, like how do you find yourself? We can talk through that real quick, but I don't think that's the thing right now. I think your wife has probably felt like she's responsible for making sure you're okay for so long. And you have been really working hard intellectually through these things. And there's got to be a place where there's connection. And you're trying to connect intellectually, and you're trying to connect project-based learning, and she just wants you.
Yeah.
You see, yeah. And I hope you get what I'm saying.
I do. I do.
It's the difference between like, I am going to rip your top 2 buttons off of your shirt in a passionate kiss. Or, when I get home, I will unbutton the top button, followed by the next top button, right? The same thing's happening, but one of those is like this moment of reckless abandon. And she might say, hey, stop. And that's going to be scary for you. That's vulnerability. Or she may rip your shirt back. But it's different than this clinical step-by-step process where she feels like she's being tested.
Yeah.
Because none of us like to be in math class for the rest of our lives with the one person we're supposed to be able to drop our shoulders with. Is she seeing somebody else?
I firmly believe no. I mean, I've asked her that. I honestly do not believe that to be true. No.
Okay, she's got to be getting connections somewhere. And maybe that's a friend, maybe that's a fantasy life, maybe that she's just shut the whole machine off for now. And she's tired of, like, that's what that trapped feeling might be, that she's tired of having the whole machine off.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily in love with someone else, but in love with something else.
I think she's in love with the idea of not being slowly being encased in concrete.
Yeah.
Right? Like this impending sense, like I gotta get out of here, whatever here is. Here may be you, but it may be the whole feeling of that whole situation. So do you think there's a chance to save your marriage, or are you guys past that? Has she filed on you?
No, there hasn't been any filing. We don't have any kids or anything, so there's not a lot to it in those terms.
Hold on, homie. There's a lot to it. It might not be as complicated, but it will still be as violent.
Right. I think we're both kind of just in this limbo of what do we do? What are the next steps? Either way,
So if one of you files on each other, the moment somebody files, the relationship is over. And it is now a business transaction. And this is uncomfortable to say, but business transaction season is not the time to quote unquote work on yourself. You're in the middle of a business deal, and we're going to get through that deal. Right. And then we're going to let the smoke and dust clear. And we're going to try to make good choices during the smoke and dust. And when I say make good choices, we're not going to do anything we can't take back. We're not going to go get somebody pregnant. We're not going to just immediately start dating all over the place. We're not going to eat with reckless abandon. We're still going to go exercise. We're still going to try to sleep best we can, even though we're grieving like crazy. You will have some Netflix nights. You'll have some of that kind of stuff. But we're going to do the best we can to stay whole. We're going to have a group of guys that we hang out with, that we do life with. We're going to be whole through this business transaction. And then we're going to start asking, what now? Where do we go? Most people make a mistake when somebody files. They instantly want to go David Goggins the whole thing, and you can't, because your body's in fight or flight and grief at the same time. It's not a time to start a new program of some sort. You got to get through this thing, right? It's like being in the middle of a marathon, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to start a squat routine. Like, dude, finish the race first. Got to finish the race, and then you got to rest, and then you can start talking about squats, right? So finding yourself, this isn't the time. If y'all are getting divorced, there's a business transaction.
Right.
I also think there's a place to sit down and say, I'm not out if you are. I don't believe in 2 sentences. I don't believe in too soon. I don't know. I just think things are funny, even if it's awful. Like, I don't believe in too soon, and I don't believe in too late. It's too late. I don't believe that. And so to sit down and say, I realize that me getting well or trying to get well has put you in a microscope for the last however many years, and that's exhausting. I'm sorry. And you, brother, have to stop wearing anxiety as an identity badge, as a way you walk around the world. This is the way I do it. And you have to take those intellectual conversations that you have and those lessons that you think about and those hard conversations, and you have to start doing things differently. And that means you're going to have to start getting tougher. And I don't mean that like I don't feel my anxiety. I mean tougher, like I'm going to do things when I don't feel like it. I'm going to exercise when I don't feel like it. I'm going to go to work and be on time when I don't feel like it. I'm going to ask my wife every single day of my life, how can I love you today? I'm going to put on my calendar, make a move tonight. Put on her music, create a world, take care of the dishes, take care of the things that all the whole environment, that take your foot, all the gas pedals down and all the brakes off in the house, whatever that looks like. And I'm going to be recklessly vulnerable with my wife. Not problem-based learning and her taking the SAT every Saturday night when you don't want to hook up, but man, all in. And that's probably going to be some skills that you got to learn how to do. And it's going to be really vulnerable and scary. You're worth that, by the way. And what a fun way to live, man. That's you running through the fire and letting your body know. I'm getting your signals, but she's safe. She's amazing. And by the way, you may do all of this and she may still leave. And if she does, you're going to have to grieve it hard. But why leave it on the table? Don't leave a conversation unhad. Don't leave an experience untried. Go get your wife. Go get your wife.